Alright guys, we are back in my garage for another video, and today we are going to be talking about the new Rev2 board from Pro Tuning Freaks. Now, a lot of you have probably seen their teasers over the years. They've been talking about this for a very long time, and recently they posted an announcement that indicates this should be coming very soon, basically as soon as this summer. And so a lot of you guys seemed excited about it and you wanted to know more. I will say up front, I don't have one, I haven't used one, but we can talk a little bit about what we expect it to do and what you guys should be looking for in case you're interested in going this route with your build. So we'll talk about that in this video, and hopefully you guys find it useful. Now, as always, for everybody that's new to the channel, I create these videos to help keep you updated on the latest developments in our community, as well as discuss technical topics so that we have a better understanding of how our engines work. So if you're interested in more videos like that, be sure to subscribe because there will be a lot more coming out in the future. So let's go ahead and talk about the Rev2 board, and let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. So this is basically a motive reflex competitor. And there have been others that we've talked about, but this is probably going to be the most popular one or biggest one to hit the market, since the reflex was pretty widely adopted across B58 and S58 platforms. I know a lot of you boot mode guys have been looking forward to this to support your auxiliary fueling and controls in your higher horsepower builds, and Bootmod is designing this to be as integrated as possible with their software and their tuning solution. So basically everything that you've heard about motive reflex and more is planned to be integrated into this new Rev2 board. So let's look at some of the history and development of how we got to this point. So as far back as 2019, you can see that they've been working on trying to develop a solution for this stuff. They had the original kind of prototype where they were soldering a board on top of their Raspberry Pi adapter that they used to use for Wi-Fi communication with the car. And they were trying to basically stack it and add output so you could control flex fuel and things like that. Now, this teaser was very open-ended. They didn't give it a name or anything. They just kind of asked people, hey, what do you think this could do if we were to add this on? And so it was pretty interesting and exciting to see it, but nothing ended up really happening for several years. Then around 2020, we saw more updates where they showed the Rev1 board. And this was supposed to be their initial kind of entry-level offering that had a couple different inputs and outputs, nothing too crazy. It seemed like it was primarily to integrate flex fuel support, but also it seemed like it would have some advanced features to control outputs as well. So we were still kind of hanging, not really sure what it would look like, but this 3D rendering did give us an idea that it was at least being worked on. Then in 2021, we saw the Rev2 version come out, and this is where they explained that it would have some advanced configuration opportunities, more inputs, more outputs. They specified EGT specific outputs as well, which was important to them. And they also identified that this would be an upgrade to the Rev1. So it sounded like we would kind of have a light version and then a full, pro version, if you will, that has all of the advanced features and capabilities integrated. And then I think the last post that we saw was around 2022, where they indicated that they got the Rev2 boards back from manufacturing. And then it's been basically radio silent. A lot of people were frustrated because now it's been 2 years since then. It seemed like it wasn't coming out. I don't know if you guys have seen any other posts, but I didn't see anything else. And I knew they were working on it, but there was really just no ETA or idea on when it would finally be released. But now they've posted multiple videos and pictures over the past couple months showing that they've been testing it on their cars, as well as working with some shops and development to make sure that the Rev2 board was capable of everything they wanted it to do. So now as far as the controls, like I said, this is going to be very similar or a competitor to the motive reflex. So it should be able to control things like port injection, nitrous, meth injection, boost control. So if you have external wastegates, this will allow you to integrate it into the DME and control the boost through those external wastegates, just like it's the stock electronic wastegate. You'll also be able to control low pressure fuel pump and, basically anything that's not built into the DME's control. And they basically specified that this is going to control it through PWM, which is the same way that the DME controls, your stock fuel system and things like that. So it's made to be integrated with the DME as much as possible. It's also going to have various inputs. They said basically any 0 to 5 volt analog or digital input can be used, with 2 inputs specifically designated for EGT monitoring. So that's not something that we've seen heavily focused on, but especially for those of you guys that like to run spicier tunes, push your car really hard, it is something that's really nice to have. And if you have a tuner that knows how to monitor and make sure that those things are safe, you can always add EGT sensors onto your car so that you know for sure that your EGTs aren't getting too high and that your engine is as healthy and safe as possible. Especially when we talk about things like running ethanol and race gas and things to cool down your combustion temperatures. Until you actually have a way to measure EGTs, you don't know where you are, in that range of safety. So if you're able to add these sensors onto your turbo kit or your manifold and monitor it with this device, then that can give you some additional safeties to make sure that your car stays together. They also wanted to specify that this is primarily going to use Flexray communication, and Flexray is basically another type of communication protocol similar to CAN bus, but it's kind of an advanced version of it. So they said, it's 20 times faster, it's more consistent, you'll basically have more reliable data communication between the different devices and things that the Rev2 board is controlling. So basically taking that to the next level as well. Now, I think something else that a lot of you guys are excited about is they did specify this is only going to require one flash to make it work. So that means you're not going to have to do any separate connections with computers and things like that to flash this Rev2 board. Everything is going to be flashed through the OBD port with your boot mode tuning file. So it's going to be just like a regular map with the additional controls built in so that it can manage how your Rev2 board works as well. So that should make the flashing process a lot more simple, reduce the chance of having errors or issues when you're trying to flash two different modules and making them, communicate together. Now it's basically just going to be one flash that sends all the data to everything at once. Now, I don't know where this is going to mount. You can see on the connection, basically I'm assuming some kind of harness plugs into there, or maybe it has like an adapter to plug it into the OBD port, but I'm assuming it's probably going to install where most people install their controllers. So somewhere under, the rain tray underneath the hood. And they did also show that this is going to be IP66 certified. So that means it can even be technically submerged in water. Not that you would really want to, but a lot of people are concerned with rain and stuff getting in that area and potentially damaging the device. And so this will have the certification to prevent it from getting damaged from water. And then finally, the big one we've all been looking for, they gave us an estimated arrival date. So they said Q2 2024. That probably means June. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. But basically, as soon as next month, maybe we'll get a little gift this year, nice and early, time will tell. But they are expecting it to release basically by this summer. So that'll be really exciting to see. They expect it to have support for all cars that have CustomROM capability. That means, of course, if you want to use this tool, you will likely need to send it back to Rev2 for an unlock if you don't have CustomROM set up on your car yet. So if you're waiting for this and you're considering adding on flex fuel or whatever, probably be patient, wait for it to come out so that we know all the information is at Rev2 and they can completely flash and update your DME before it gets back to you. I know a lot of you guys hate having to send it back and forth over and over again for these little updates, but I really expect this to basically be the end-all solution for all the different but I really do expect this to be the end-all solution for all the additional features that Bootmod has been teasing for literally the past 5 years. So give it a couple more months. I know it sucks to be patient, but I'm sure it'll be worth the wait. And yeah, I'm excited to see when this actually comes out, how it installs and works, and what people think of the actual tunability. Again, some shops are already using it, so it seems like a good product, but time will tell once it gets in the hands of more consumers. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you're planning on going this route and waiting for it, do you already have a reflex? Do you plan on switching? I'm curious what you guys think. But for me, I'm just going to be sticking around to watch the show. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helps. And if you have any other questions or comments, leave them down below.